Today in this video I am going to explain you the story Lost Spring by Annie Young. Lost Spring, story of stolen childhood, is written by Annie Young, and there are two stories in this chapter. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This is the story of a boy born in a family of rag pickers. And second story is I want to drive a car. This is the story of a boy born in a family of bangle makers. So there is something common in these stories, that's why they are put together. The common thing is that both the children are child laborers. And as the title of the story suggests that the spring is lost from their lives, spring in this story is a symbol of childhood. The childhood of these children is lost because of their circumstances, their hostile circumstances. They cannot enjoy their childhood, they cannot go to study, they cannot go to school. That's why their childhood is stolen. So let's start from the first story. So let's start with the main points and their explanation. So this is the first story, part 1. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. The first main point is Sahib left his native land. The story starts with a description of Sahib's native land. Sahib belonged to Dhaka, Bangladesh, and he and his family members and others left their native land in Dhaka, Bangladesh because of frequent floods and cyclones there which destroyed their green fields. That's why in search of food they left their native land Dhaka, Bangladesh and migrated to Simapuri, Delhi. The second main point is narrator's promise to open a school. So writer asked Sahib one day that why he didn't go to school. The Sahib replied that there was no school in the slum, in Simapuri slum, that's why he didn't go to school. Then narrator made a promise that she would open a school there in the slum. Then Sahib became very happy, and after some days Sahib again asked the narrator when she was going to open a school. Then writer became very sad because actually she had no intention to open a school. She just wanted to know whether Sahib was interested to go to school or not. And narrator thinks that such promises are made by various people, by political leaders and social reformers, but they never fulfill their promises. The next main point is irony in Sahib's name. When the narrator Annie Young asked one day Sahib about his name, Sahib replied that his full name was Sahib-e-Alam. Sahib-e-Alam actually which means the Lord of the Universe. Lord of the Universe. So there is an irony in Sahib's name and his actual condition, because Sahib's full name is Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe, but actually he is a poor rag picking boy who wanders in the streets and picking garbage here and there, and wears no slippers, and he is barefoot child. So there is a disagreement between his name and his condition. So that's why there is irony in Sahib's name. Next main point is reason of walking barefoot. And writer was interested to know why Sahib doesn't wear any shoes or chappals or slippers. So then he replied that his mother doesn't allow him to wear shoes or any slippers. So and another boy replies that, another rag-picking boy replies that if his mother allow him to wear, he would throw them off. So there are actually, the narrator thinks that there are actually two reasons. Poverty is also the main cause, that they cannot afford any shoes or chappals, and apart from poverty, there is also a tradition. There is also tradition of walking barefoot without wearing any slippers or shoes. And fifth main point is story by a man from UDP. UDP, story by a man from UDP. So because of this example of walking barefoot and non-availability of any slippers, writer remembers a story which was told to her by a man from UDP. According to that story, there was a boy whose father was a priest in a temple, and he used to make a prayer daily. He used to make a prayer daily to give him shoes, prayer to the gods and goddesses in the temple, to provide him a pair of shoes. What happened to his wish, she didn't know, but after 30 years later, when narrator herself visited that town, UDP, then she found that there was a new priest. There was a new priest, and all his children have shoes, socks, uniform, and school books. Probably the prayer of that boy has been granted by the God. Writer thinks that there are two kinds of children. There are two kinds of children in this world. First one are those whose prayers are granted by the God, and second one are those children whose prayers are never heard by God or never granted by God, and they always remain unfulfilled. So Sahib and other children falls in the second category, whose prayer probably are never heard or paid attention by the God. Next point is Simapuri, miles away from Delhi. Simapuri, where these more than 10,000 families of racketeering people live there, they are on the outskirts of Delhi. They are on the periphery or outskirts of Delhi, but it is miles away. Metaphorically, it is miles away from Delhi. Metaphorically, miles away from it means there is no facility of water, sewage system, sanitation. This is a slum. This is a slum, unauthorized locality. That's why there is no facility provided by government, by the municipality. That's why this is on the outskirts of Delhi, but it is miles away from Delhi so far as the facilities are concerned. Next main point is food is more important for survival than identity. These people from Dhaka, Bangladesh, all are busy engaged in the job of picking garbage, and they don't have any identity. They don't have any identity. They don't have their name in ration cards, and some of them anyhow they have arranged to have ration card. But many of them are living without any identity, but they don't care about identity because they have not come for identity or to give caste vote, but they have come only to arrange food, and they are getting their food in Simapuri. That's why food is more important for them. Food is more important than for survival than identity. That's why they don't care for ration card or their name in voters list. Now my next main point is garbage to them is gold. Garbage to them is gold means the garbage is just like gold mines, because they are everything necessary for their living. They are getting everything from these garbage. So at their daily they are picking garbage and arranging their livelihood. That's why garbage is not less than gold for these people. Different meaning of garbage. Garbage has different meaning for elders and children. For elders, it's a means of survival. It's a means of survival because they are picking garbage and they are finding various things from the garbage and selling them and arranging their livelihood. While for children, it is just a time pass. They are just it is wonder. It is wrapped in wonder for them. Wrapped in wonder because they are getting new things out of the garbage daily. It is not a means of survival for them. It is a means of survival for elders, and for children it is wrapped in wonder. Wrapped in wonder because sometimes they find a 10 rupee note or a silver coin in this garbage. That's why garbage has a different meaning for children and elders. Now next point. Main point number 10. Sahib's wish for playing tennis. One day Anism found that Sahib was walking wearing white tennis shoes. She came to know that Sahib has got these white tennis shoes from the heaps of garbage. But these shoes have some minor defect and had been thrown by the child of some rich family. That's why Sahib got it, and he was wearing these shoes. And on being asked, she came to know, writer came to know that Sahib was also fond of playing tennis, but being a very costly game, it was out of Sahib's reach. But sometimes Sahib used to visit the neighboring tennis club where the watchman was familiar to him, and sometimes he allowed him to come inside and have a swing. But actually this game is out of Sahib's reach because it was a costly game. Last point of the story is Sahib is no longer his own master. One day Anism found that Sahib was walking and returning from a tea stall. She came to know that Sahib now has started working in a tea stall, and now she gets 800 rupees and all his meals. But even then, even after getting 800 rupees and all his meals, Sahib was not happy, and there was not that carefree look on his face because he has lost his freedom. Because he has lost his freedom when he started working in a tea stall, and now he has to carry a heavy tin canister to carry the milk from milk booth to tea stall owner. So that's why he was carrying out tin canister, which was heavier than the light plastic bag which he used to carry earlier when he was a rag picking boy. Now he has lost his freedom, and now he was no more his own master. His master was tea stall owner, and he has lost his freedom now. That's why Sahib is no longer his own master. That's all. In this video, I explained you the part first of the story Lost Spring, and to watch the part second, go to my next video. Thank you and have a nice day, and also don't forget to like and share, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for further educational updates. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.